So here's what's left of our garden for the current growing season. It's really our first year we planted a garden, so it might look a little sad to some people, but we're pretty proud of it. We've learned a lot, made a lot of mistakes, but that's how it goes. You live and learn, and we'll have a better one next year. Hopefully, anyway. We learned it's really not big enough for all the varieties we like, so next year we're planning on expanding it further. We're actually going to probably about triple the size of it. And we took the week after next off of work, so hopefully the weather's good, and we're planning on ripping up all the sod and tilling it to help get it ready for spring. But, for the little garden we have, it's 24 foot by 24 foot. We've gotten quite a bit out of it, actually. Right here, there's 3 rows of beans right now. We had sweet corn, and we harvested that about 6 weeks ago and planted the beans. I don't know if we'll get any beans before frost hits. They're still rather small. But, we had the space, we had the beans, so we figured it couldn't hurt to try. They are getting attacked by the bean leaf bugs. As you can see, there's some holes in them right there, but not too bad. Picked them off and put them in soapy water to kill them, but they keep coming back, and I've not seen any lately, but new holes appear, so I know they're still there. I don't know if it's worse because the garden, or the farm behind our house, has beans in the field this year, but see what happens with them. Maybe we'll get some out of it yet, I don't know. We have some green peppers here, which they're doing alright. Beginning of the year, they got attacked by the deer pretty good. Some of the deer damage up here still where they've taken it off, but we've gotten a few out of it. They're a little small, but they taste good still. So, we also tried some celery, which isn't, again, the greatest, but we're learning. This one bunch right here, let's see, it's doing okay. We planted it from a little plant that we got, and it smells good when you get up to it. So, that'll be good, I think. These two are a little bit small. They were actually attacked by a zucchini plant that we had. It kind of overtook them, and they've not developed into anything. As you can see, it's really small. But the zucchini's long gone. Unfortunately, it dried up. And let's see what's next. The tomatoes. They've done pretty good. We have 12 plants of them, or 11 plants this year. Learn that's not nearly enough. So once again, that is why we're expanding. We had some Romas. A couple of them are ready. We were getting good bunches at once, but it's slowed down so much that we're only really processing, I'd say maybe 10 at a time, but they're still good. Can't complain. And this is an attempt at potatoes. Tried digging it up, and it was so small, but I don't know what we did to keep them small. They didn't grow, but that's okay. Maybe next year. Well, probably try digging them up because they look pretty gone, but that's alright. And over here we have a rhubarb patch, which that did pretty good this year. As you can see, they're nice and huge. We are planning on moving them, a couple of them next year anyway, so we won't harvest much next year, but this year wasn't bad. And also some strawberries over here, which they started off real slow, kept getting eaten by stuff with birds, and the deer have been really bad this year, but we're starting to get quite a few right now. So, a couple more small ones coming. Look good. Then on this side of the garden we have the few extra straggly looking tomato plants, and we had some cucumbers here, and they got really bitter and they never really popped back out of it, so we finally ripped them up I'd say about a week ago. Then we had some onions and carrots that we've harvested already, and we've tried planting some more lettuce here. We gotta weed it, so it looks awful right now, but a few different varieties of lettuce in these 2 rows. And these green beans were really good this year. Again, the deer got to them in the spring, so it slowed them down, but once they got going, We've harvested quite a bit out of it actually. And in here, somewhere, there it is, we have a couple more carrots that we tried planting, but again, I don't think it's going to make it till frost hits, but we took something else out here. I forgot even what we had here and had some extra space, so again, we tried. Couldn't hurt to try. And these peas were planted also about 6 weeks ago. We had another group of peas here and they dried out. It's been really hot. But I think these are actually going to make it. We've been using this, you know, the regular metal fencing, and it's a pain to work with, so we thought we'd try this plastic stuff here. And the peas are taken to it really well, actually. They're wrapping around it really good, so I think this is going to be our way to do peas from now on. It's so much simpler to deal with than the metal. You can just roll it right up, and it's just a lot easier. I've also planted a couple black raspberry bushes, these two right here, so maybe we'll get something out of them next year. And we planted 6 blueberry bushes as well, so those should be really good. And we bought this house about 4 years ago. We planted this little twig of an apple tree, so maybe another 60 years we might actually get an apple out of it. And also in the front yard, we have a big old walnut tree, so those are always good. And we planted a small walnut a couple years ago as well, but like the apple tree, it's really small, so another 10 years we might actually get some walnuts out of it. And back there, in the very back of the yard, zoom in a little bit, we have some pumpkins growing, so we'll take a walk over there and see how they're doing. This part of the yard, it's a little hilly, so it's kind of a pain to mow, so we just let it go natural and do its own thing. But it does make a perfect spot for the pumpkins back here, and here they are. There's the little patch. We probably have about 15 to 20 pumpkins at least. We'll know for sure once we actually get in there to harvest them, but they are in here. You may not really see all of them, but there's one there anyway. And so there's probably 15 to 20. So we've not made any pumpkin cheesecake or pumpkin cookies in a while, and they sound kind of good right now. So next week, maybe 2 weeks, is when we'll start harvesting them, and we'll be good to go. And since we ran out of room in the garden this year, we tried planting a few things in some containers, and a couple things did really good. The peppers especially did real well. There's some bell peppers there. And here were some Anaheim peppers, and there's something else that the deer got this year. We're going to have to figure one way or another to keep the deer out of our garden, but really don't want to fence it, but it looks like we might have to. But anyway, here's a couple Anaheim peppers. A little baby one there still. But they've done pretty good, so I can't complain. They work really good in some scrambled eggs, but seem to get maybe, I'd say about 5 a week out of it, so not too bad. Here's one more blackberry bush that we bought. We got it on clearance sale for $1, I think it was. It was pretty darn dead when we bought it, but if you went up to the bark and you took a little scratch out of it, I don't know if you can see that, but it was nice and green, so we thought for $1 couldn't hurt to try, and sure enough, it's sprouting up a little bit. So we've not planted it yet because we didn't want to put it in the ground for it to not do anything, so it's been sitting in this bucket. We've been watering it, and so we'll probably plant it in the spring next year, put it in a nice protected spot, and we'll have a nice blackberry patch. The final thing we have in our garden are some white grapes, and we've been having some problems with them dying. They don't seem to ever want to come back, but this one on the end is actually a 2-year plant, so hopefully next year we might actually get some grapes out of it. These two here, one there, and the one there we just planted this year, so I think it's 3 or 4 years before they actually start producing, so we'll see if this first one gets any for us next year. Here's another shot of the black walnut tree that's been here for God only knows how many years. Shouldn't be too much longer before the walnuts start dropping. And over here is that small walnut tree I was talking about. It's a Carpathian walnut. It supposedly has thinner shells, so they should be easier to break open. And it's actually a little caterpillar on there right now, munching the leaves. But again, it's going to be a long time before this actually produces anything. And I actually almost forgot about, we did plant a pear tree this year, a dwarf pear. And it's right here. It's been a really hot summer, so we've been watering it like crazy, but it's still kind of drying out. But it looks like it'll make it to next year. So as we continue to harvest the garden for the rest of the season, I'll keep you posted on the beans over here and the peas, see if we get any out of them. And I'll try to share some of our favorite recipes as well that we have. And try to get some video of our little expansion project. So if you've never done a garden before, you can learn what you have to do to get it started. So a good chunk of this sod will be gone in the next 2 weeks hopefully, so we'll see what happens.